Love is the light of the heart. The man who learned too late, inspired by Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. He had everything: money, fame, power. But when his heart turned dark, a single quote from Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, became the light that led him back to Allah. This is the story of a man who learned too late that love isn't weakness. It's the only light that saves. It was 2:47 a.m., the kind of silence that even the ticking of a wall clock could pierce. Zion sat on the edge of his bed, the glow of his phone screen reflecting in his tired eyes. Unread messages, unsent apologies, and the kind of loneliness that money, fame, and people could never fix. He had built empires. His app had 10 million downloads. He owned penthouses in Dubai and London, drove cars that people made wallpapers of, and yet when the lights went off, he was nothing more than an empty shell. Tonight was his ex-wife Aaliyah's birthday. He typed out a message. "Happy birthday. I hope you're doing well." He stared at it for a minute, then deleted it. What was the point? She had moved on. She had peace. And he had everything except that. Zion walked to the mirror. He used to think love was weakness, that emotions slowed people down, that caring meant losing control. He had replaced affection with ambition, prayers with profit, and peace with performance. But now, standing alone in a high-rise apartment filled with silence and success, he wondered, what if love was never the weakness? What if it was the light I spent my life running from? The thought lingered like a ghost. 2 years ago, Aaliyah had told him, "Zion, you can't see what matters anymore. You think love is a transaction. You measure affection in effort and faith in profit. But love isn't math, Zion. It's mercy, and mercy comes from Allah." He had laughed that day. He remembered replying coldly, "Mercy doesn't scale. Profit does." That was the day she left, and that was the last day his heart truly beat. Months passed after the divorce. Zion threw himself into work. Late nights, early flights, meaningless meetings. Every achievement felt hollow. Every applause sounded distant. He began seeing a psychiatrist who prescribed him pills. But deep inside, Zion knew his illness wasn't in his mind. It was in his heart. One night, while browsing YouTube aimlessly, he stumbled upon a video titled, "Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him," on love and light. It was an old lecture by a scholar. The thumbnail showed an old parchment with the words, "Love is the light of the heart. Without it, hearts are blind." Something made him click. The speaker said, "The love Ali, may Allah be pleased with him," spoke of wasn't romance. It was divine love, the kind that connects your soul to its creator. Without it, the heart sees nothing but the world. And the world, my brothers and sisters, is a shadow. It disappears when the light of Allah rises. Zion paused the video. He stared at the screen, frozen. He didn't understand all of it, but something in those words touched him. It was as if the quote had found him at the exact moment he needed it. A week later, his friend invited him to a charity event. He went out of boredom, not faith. It was a fundraiser for orphans in Syria. People gave donations, but there was one girl on the stage who caught his attention. She wasn't rich, she wasn't famous. She was a volunteer named Miriam. She spoke with tears in her voice. When you love for Allah's sake, you see beauty in every sacrifice. These children lost everything, but not their smile, because their love for Allah never left them. Zion sat still. He had heard thousands of speeches, attended countless conferences. None of them stayed with him. But this girl's sincerity felt different. After the event, he approached her and said, "That was beautiful. You really believe love can survive pain?" She smiled. "Love doesn't survive pain. It shines through it." That night, Zion couldn't sleep. He kept replaying her words. He started donating anonymously. Not because he wanted to impress her, but because for the first time, giving felt better than earning. He visited the charity office again a few weeks later. This time, he volunteered, cleaning, packaging food, counting donations. No cameras, no fame, no recognition. And yet, every hour there felt lighter than his entire week in the corporate world. He saw Miriam again, serving food to a group of refugees. One boy, barely 6 years old, smiled up at her and said, "Thank you, sister." She bent down, kissed his forehead, and replied, "Thank Allah, not me." Zion felt something stir in him, something he hadn't felt in years. Days turned into weeks. He and Miriam started talking more often about life, about faith, about what love really means. One evening she asked, "Do you pray, Zion?" He hesitated. "Not really. I mean, I used to, when I was younger." She looked at him, not with judgment, but with compassion. "You can start again." Allah never stopped listening. Her words echoed in his heart. That night, for the first time in years, Zion prayed. Awkwardly, imperfectly, tearfully, but sincerely. He didn't know what to say, so he just whispered, "Ya Allah, if you're still there, please light my heart again." And that night, he slept peacefully. Weeks later, Zion took Miriam out for coffee. He told her about his past, his arrogance, his lost marriage. She listened quietly, and when he finished, she said softly, "You're not the first to lose your way. But remember what Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, love is the light of the heart. Maybe your blindness wasn't failure. Maybe it was a mercy so you could learn to see again." Zion looked at her, realizing how right she was. He wanted to tell her something, maybe even ask if she believed in second chances, but before he could, she got a call. Her eyes widened, tears filled them. Her younger brother had been in a car accident. Critical condition. They rushed to the hospital. For hours, she prayed beside the ICU door, whispering, "Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim." Zion held her hand, not saying a word. At dawn, the doctor came out and said her brother didn't make it. Miriam collapsed in tears. Zion tried to comfort her, but she whispered through sobs. He was only 17, but he died with Allah's name on his tongue. That's love. That's the light I told you about. Her words broke him. He felt smaller than he ever had. He had spent years chasing illusions, while this woman had lived with a heart so pure that even in grief, she glorified her Lord. Days later, she left the city to care for her mother. Before leaving, she texted him, "Don't stop praying. Don't stop giving. The heart only lives when it loves for Allah." Months passed. Zion continued her charity work. He found solace in serving others, in sujud, and late-night tears. But deep down, he missed her, not as a lover, but as a reminder of what love truly means. One evening, as he walked in the masjid, an old man sat beside him after prayer. The man smiled and said, "Son, you look like someone searching for peace." Zion nodded. "I think I lost it years ago." The old man chuckled. "Then you haven't lost it. You just walked too far from it. Peace never leaves the heart that remembers Allah." Zion lowered his head, whispering to himself, "Love is the light of the heart." The man looked surprised. "You know that saying?" Zion smiled faintly. "Yes, but I only understood it when I lost everything." Years later, Zion's company collapsed in a market crash. His wealth vanished overnight. Reporters called it the fall of a tech titan. He didn't even care anymore. He spent his final years teaching orphans coding and Quran basics. His beard turned gray, his health declined, but his eyes, they finally had light. He never married again, but in his diary, the last words he wrote were, "I once thought love was weakness. Then I met people who showed me that love for Allah is strength. I learned too late, but maybe that's how Allah planned it. Because only through losing love, I found the one who is love." He died one night in sujud, and when people found his journal, they saw that same quote written on the first page and the last. Love is the light of the heart. Without it, hearts are blind. Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. If this story touched your heart, remember, it reached you for a reason. Maybe Allah wants to remind you that love for him is the only light that never fades. Share this video, spread the light, and subscribe to Deen in Minute, where hearts return home to Allah.